Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Mike with White Glove Detailing. We're here in the beautiful Channel Side area of downtown Tampa. I'm here with a few clients of mine, and we're gonna go and detail some of their cars so you guys can check out some of our work. What's up, what's up? Welcome back.
Hello, thank you.
How are you?
Great, and you?
Good to see you. Coming back for your weekly?
Yes, my weekly.
Good, you going up to the office?
Yes.
Nice,
so
nice.
I need to make sure that it's nice and fresh. It'll be amazing if you can do it quick because I'm on my lunch break.
Okay, perfect. Anything I need to do in specific or?
Rugs, they're filthy, and anything on the outside, a lot of rain has hit it.
Okay, perfect, yeah. Just leave it like normal. I'll call you when it's done.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
All right, see ya.
All right, so first thing I want to do every time a customer leaves, I want to take a look at the car. You can see here on the bottom of the side skirt, it's really dirty. So I definitely want to pressure wash that first before I end up touching it, just because I don't want to scratch it. It's a black car. Another thing here, we got fingerprints. She's got a wrap on her handles here, so we want to be really sensitive to these areas. You don't want to use heavy chemicals on black cars. Another thing too is if I don't have to touch the car, I don't want to touch the car because you get micro swirls, stuff like that. Another thing you always want to check too is your door jams, stuff like that. If it's really dirty, you might have to pressure wash it instead of wiping it. In most cases, I like to pressure wash it first just to take a look at it. The second thing you always want to do as well is check the interior of the car. Basically, you just want to see if you have to use a blower, so if you want to blow it out, but in this one case, she takes really good care of her car, so all we really have to do is vacuum. Teslas have vegan leather, so we can't use strong chemicals on this type of leather. Most of the time, believe it or not, I usually just use straight water and a rag to see if I can clean it, see how it comes out, and if it comes out good, that's a good thing because I preserve the natural chemicals and everything inside the actual leather just to take care of it. All right, so step one, basically what I want to do now is I'm going to pull everything out that I need. So first things first, I'm probably going to pull out my vacuum, extension cord. I'm going to take a look at my chemicals real quick, see what I need to load up, see what I need to use, grab microfibers. I want to pull everything out before I start the car, just so I have everything right then and there. It saves a lot of time. All right, so next thing you want to do, one thing I always practice, I don't like to spray any of my chemicals, even if it's just water, on the actual panel or any type of surface, just because you don't know how it's going to react at the end of the day. You can use test spots, which is what I do on first-time clients, but because this car's been here and I've seen this car so many times, I know how it's gonna react already. Another good thing too, a lot of these Teslas, they have Alcantara. Any surface with Alcantara, you wanna be very careful with chemical usage on Alcantara. You can do something that's called freezing the Alcantara, where it gets really rough. And Alcantara is a really nice and smooth, soft to touch texture. Chemicals, if you use the wrong cleaner on them, you will damage the Alcantara and you can't get it back. So that's another thing that, again, people that spend money on these cars, they're gonna know when their stuff is damaged or not. One of the biggest things that detailers miss is your back windows and your side windows. You wanna remember your customer's paying for a detail. So you wanna touch every nook and cranny to the best of your abilities and make sure that you're grabbing every part of the car and cleaning it. A lot of detailers will miss this backside and think, oh, the customer's not gonna notice, or oh, they don't touch the glass. But it does get dusty back here. It does get dirty. So you want to touch it and you want to clean it. You want to make sure it's nice and clean for the customer. Clean. Another one of the reasons why I wait till vacuuming to the end is because I like to sit in the car. I don't like to lean on the seat. I don't like to put a lot of weight on one side of the seat because you can damage the seat. Again, don't spray any product directly on the surface. Always spray it on the rag, except for windows. But center screens, always want to make sure you clean it. Nice, clean side of the microfiber. Use ammonia-free products. It's going to move around. Be real sensitive. Do not do any kind of pressure on the screen. You don't want to use pressure on the screen. Don't take my word for it. Go to your TV at home and take your thumb and press it on the TV. You'll see how the screen kind of goes all whack. All right, so one of the things I always say is always have an air compressor. This car doesn't need a lot of blowing at all inside the interior, but to make your job a lot easier, it's annoying messing with these rugs. So I'm gonna do it after I speak. It's really loud. But when you have a blower, turbinado for sure, it's a lot of air. So what that does is it makes your job a lot easier. So instead of sitting here vacuuming and spending about 5-6 minutes on each rug, all you really gotta do is this. Nice and clean. All right, so one of the cool things about being a detailer as well is you can kind of create art. So one of the things, if you want to impress your customer, if you want to be a little bit different, a lot of detailers do this design, but it's okay to still, not a lot of people see it. So take some water in a bottle. You don't want to saturate the rug, but you want to get it kind of wet just because the fibers are going to work a lot better with this. You can make some lines. And you know, they don't have to be perfect, but you don't want it to be ugly either. But give that little pizzazz, that little wow factor when you're on your details. You know, and my lines are nowhere near perfect. Don't think I'm some freaking Picasso out here. But you know, don't be afraid to try something new. There's a bunch of different designs you can learn, different kind of stencils and stuff like that that we use for, you know, specific customers that they just like that stuff. But if you want to be a little bit different, you can make the lines.
Well, since Mikey took care of the interior, we're gonna go ahead and start on the exterior. I'm Nick with the White Glove Detailer, so we're gonna walk you through some of these steps. Right now we have some pH balanced soap that we're gonna be using on the Tesla, just to make sure that we keep it nice and safe, keep the shine. We're not really doing anything that's too aggressive. We just wanna make sure that it's nice and cleaned up. So at the White Glove Detailer, we only use deionized water. While we're washing the car, this gives us the chance to not leave spots on the vehicle. So while we're washing it, you can use normal water, but this is actually just gonna make everything a little bit faster, speed up the process for you. We always start with a pre-rinse just so that we can get the car nice and wet. We don't wanna be scratching it with any of the dirt that was left over on it. So this is the part that everybody usually sees that we're doing. So while we're doing it, we're gonna start off with the top of the vehicle, bring it down to the bottom. That just makes it easier for us to see what soap we're laying down in places, and we're just gonna go straight to washing it. So now we get to the washing part. This is usually where we start to pull out the bits. We don't like to use brushes on vehicles. It just comes out a little bit too aggressive. So we use a lot of microfibers to get the washing done. This just makes it easier for us not to scratch the vehicle. As long as we keep them nice and clean. If it touches the ground, it's trash. We're not using it no more. We'll just buy a new one. So while we're washing, we like to keep things in a nice straight line. That way we can minimize the amount of damage we're doing on the paint. We're not adding any swirls by going in straight lines. If anything, we may add a straight line, but that's easier to fix than to be chasing down swirls. You also want to make sure you're starting off top to bottom, so that way you're not bringing trash from the bottom of the vehicle up to the top. You're bringing everything down the way that everything wants to go with gravity. So we're always looking for secret spots on a vehicle, especially on the exterior. So places like this, the canards. You also have your rear diffuser area. We're always looking for those spots because we don't want you to feel like we're cheaping out on the process. We want to get every single piece of the vehicle clean. So while we're washing, we want to make sure we get all the bugs and contaminants off the paint. So on the body, typically we won't use this unless the bugs are really bad. But for the windows, we can use this to at least get them all scrubbed off. That way you have all the clarity in the world while you're driving. So now we're getting down to the stilettos. Pretty much the wheels of the car is what everybody's gonna see as it's rolling up. Nobody's ever really giving you a compliment on dirty shoes, so the same thing for your wheels. We're not gonna use something that's too aggressive on the wheels. We wanna use something like Brake Buster. That's gonna get all the brake dust off the wheels. We take our time when it comes to the wheels, so if you're expecting us to be done in 20 minutes, that's impossible because just wheels alone usually takes us 20 minutes out of the detail. And yeah, we get in the barrels too. So in this case right now, we're using a ferret brush. This ferret brush is gonna get us to the back of the wheel barrel. This is gonna get all the brake dust that's actually caked up from the brakes directly out of the way. And then we'll come out to the spokes where I'll use more of like your makeup style brush. Very soft bristles, easy to work with, but also will get us into these little nice grooves. So being that this is a Tesla, we don't have exhaust pipes. Normally what we would do is just put a little bit of this on there, on the exhaust pipe, and just give it a good scrub down with something like the ferret brush. That way you can at least get the inside of the exhaust pipe nice and clean. But it's a Tesla, so we don't have exhaust pipes, thank God.
All right, so Nick's doing the rinse down process right now. We say it's a process because we literally have an exact system that we use when we're rinsing down vehicles. Always want to go top to bottom. You never want to track any dirt that you might have missed up. We're not perfect, you might miss a little spot. If you track it up, you risk scratching the vehicle. So we go from the top down. Also want to get all the soap We use pH balanced chemicals, so it is safe to use even in direct sunlight, but still, you don't want to leave chemicals drying up on the paint. You see he's gonna go on the bottom first, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna always gonna go back. Even if you rinse the area down 2-3 times, you still kind of want to go back a little bit just to make sure you really get every nook and cranny. You're a detailer. Attention to detail is the biggest thing. All right, so for our drying process, we don't use any shampoos or anything like that. That actually can really scratch your paint. What we use really thick towels. He's using a thinner one. The thinner one we like to use for your big spot areas. I like to use this one because it soaks up a lot. What you want to do is never leave a lot of pressure. You always just want to glide it. This car has PPF on the front as well. So PPFs usually have some type of coating on top of it to protect it as well. And you also want to see the nice beads. That means that there's a good wax on the vehicle, good coating on it. You don't want to use a lot of pressure. You can use mild pressure, like take your fingertips and run it across the paint. This is a black car, so any scratch, any dent, anything like that, you're gonna see it. You wanna make sure you're always being real careful with the car, especially on the glass. There's no need to sit here and put a ton of pressure. You're not gonna soak up the water faster, you're not gonna soak up more water. All you're gonna do is risk damaging the paint. All right, so when you're drying the paint, this one's pretty dry already, but always wanna dry in straight lines. You don't wanna do a bunch of circles or something because you're gonna waste more time. Just go in a straight line, you get the entire panel, you know you will. One thing I like to do to protect myself is anytime you drop any kind of microfiber, any kind of towel, trash it. Put it back in your hamper, don't worry about it. Do not pick that thing up and put it on paint. It's not, you're gonna damage the car. What I like to do to protect myself from doing that is I always put 2 hands on the car. I keep 1 hand on the bottom so I can limit the travel of the actual rag. I don't have to worry about doing this and bringing it real close to the ground, and then I'm risking it. Also want to go top to bottom on the cars too. You see this panel is completely dry. So now, since I'm gonna not trash it, but since I'm gonna put this drying towel in the hamper when I'm done, I can now touch the bottom of the car. And I don't care if it touches the ground because I'm not using the corners. You always wanna dry, get the corners done. You don't need to go crazy, do a bunch, go crazy on it. Just make sure you dry it, make sure you touch it, make sure it's good. You know how they say this separates the boys from the men? Well, this separates the car washers from the detailers. Detailers are attention to detail. I emphasize that and I harp on it because it's true. We like to always touch door jambs no matter what. Even if the car is spotless and the door jambs don't have to be touched, still take a look at it. Maybe run the rag once or twice around it. Clean your door jambs. After a while, if you leave the door jambs and you don't clean them, it's just gonna cake up with dirt and cake up with dirt, and eventually you're gonna wash the door jamb and it's gonna be so faded on the paint, and the paint on the outside is gonna look nice and shiny. You want the car to be uniform all the way through, especially when you're cleaning it. Another thing we like to do too is tire shine. We're kind of big on tire shine. This client does like it, so one of the things we like to do is we like to dry off the surface of the tire. The reason why we do that is because tire shine is not gonna cling to water, it's gonna fall right off. So we have a Tornador. So another thing that separates us in the city of Tampa is how we apply our tire shine. We don't do it by hand anymore. We use an HVLP gun, which is a high volume, low pressure gun. The reason why we do that is because it gives it a nice even coating and it puts quite a bit on. So we use a lot more product, but saves a lot of time, gives it a really nice shine, and it clings and dries a lot faster. Oh, hey, you're back.
I'm back.
How was your lunch break? Good?
It was amazing.
Good. What do you think?
Oh my goodness.
Nice and clean.
I cannot believe.
So, kept it as usual.
Yes.
Did your interior first, obviously. I did the designs that you like. I know you liked it last time, so I kept it original.
I love it. You know how I like it.
Of course. I redid your interior coating because it did wear off. It's been like 3 months since I did it last time, so I redid the interior coating. So it's gonna look a little bit glossy for now, but by tomorrow it'll be back to the flat shine that you like.
Awesome.
So I did your glass too, and like I said, kept it as usual. Got you done right.
As always.
Cool. It was great seeing you.
Thank you so much.
I'll see you in 2 weeks, okay?
All right, we'll see you.
All right.
Huge shout out to White Glove. Thank you so much. Always fast, efficient, and amazing. Thank you. Bye.